Hello, and thank you very much for staying tuned to the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Network Service. My name is Cecile Egbele, and you're watching the Medley Show. I would like to talk about throughout a little over 2 years now since we started. When did we start? Wait a minute, that was COVID. We started in COVID, that's sometime around May, the program started. And now, it's over 3 years now, we started. And there are very many topics that I've really been passionate about. Many topics we've talked about on the program that you also find quite interesting, and we had a lot of your feedback. Today, we'll revisit one of these topics, and I'm talking about your mental health. Now, the issue of mental health is a serious issue that many people don't seem to take as serious as it should be taken in Nigeria. So that's why I thought that, let's bring it back. Many people are having one of these conditions or the other, and they are not talking about it. So, but today, I would like us to focus on depression, PTSD, and anxiety. Well, many of you don't look at it like, okay, yeah, I'm just anxious. Oh, I'm depressed, but it's okay, I'll be all right. But many times, many people find it difficult getting out of that, these conditions. Anyhow, I have a guest with me on set. She is a consultant psychiatrist and a member of the West African College of Physicians, and she's Dr. Moturanyo. That your surname is a little tongue twisting for me. Take it.
It's Oyelonu.
Oyelonu.
Lounu.
Oyelonu. All right. All right. Yeah, for the program, I'll just call you Dr. Moturanyo. Moturanyo, thank you very much for coming around.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes. Let me ask you something that maybe ordinarily I would say I have an idea. Mental health in Nigeria, is it as bad as we say? Come on, in Nigeria, we know how to get around things. We'll say, we'll go there, okay, last. Is it really that bad? I see the figures. They say almost how many percent? 60 million from, Yes. Is it really that bad? Seriously?
Yes, so there's been like an upsurge in mental health issues globally. And we know that even recently with the 2020 pandemic, things got a little bit worse. In the early 2000s, it was actually predicted even that by 2020, that the incidence of mental health conditions, especially depression, was going to rise. So yes, it's up to that. And we know that people also don't show up when they have mental health conditions.
Yes.
Although I must say that in the last few years as well, there's been an increase in the awareness and the willingness, especially of young people, in seeking for mental health.
People not coming to seek for mental treatment, can it be linked with the fact that we don't have enough of you practitioners?
There are a lot of factors. One is awareness. Are people even aware that what they may be going through could be a mental health issue? Secondly, is the problem of stigma. What would people say if I say I have a mental health condition? Or how would I feel that I'm no longer in control? I should be in control. That's the way most people feel. We don't think like that when we have headaches or when people are diagnosed with other conditions. But when it comes to the mental health issues, people feel I should be able to handle it. I should be able to cope with this. I can't be seen to be frail, emotionally. So that also affects people. And then those who come out may feel stigmatized. What will people say? So there's self-stigmatization, but there's also the fear of perceived stigma. What will people say? And then sometimes the discrimination that also comes with the fact that I have an identifiable mental health condition. People should not know about it.
Self-stigma, yeah, self. Some people actually stigmatize themselves. Now, within your years of practice, what would you say have been some of the, in Nigeria, I know you've practiced out of the country before too. Yeah, okay, well, let's stick with Nigeria for now. Yes. In Nigeria, what are some of the common mental health, what do you call it, conditions or illnesses or
conditions, disorders?
Yes. Okay, mental health disorders that you've you've had to deal with or that you've heard of?
So the commonest ones, mood disorders, of which depression is one of them.
Mood disorder, that's this mood swing, happy just
bipolar
now,
disorder,
bipolar.
and also
just break
depression.
them down when you mentioned them.
So examples of mood disorders include depression and bipolar disorder.
Bipolar is when
so simply said, people who tend to oscillate between extremes of mood or emotions. So you have those who, when they're in the manic phase of the illness, they are overtly excited, they have an exaggerated sense of themselves, they may even feel like maybe they are something different, more powerful, they could think that they have a different identity than they usually have. And sometimes, then increased energy, lots of ideas, they feel very creative, they are not sleeping well, and they don't feel that they need to sleep, which is reduced need for sleep. And then on the other hand, they can also have depressive episodes, which are in keeping with the usual depressive symptoms that people when they have depression have. So there are people who have bipolar disorder. So it's not just I'm happy today, I'm happy tomorrow. No, I'm sad tomorrow. No, it's like a sustained period of these symptoms that I've explained. So mood disorders are common. Anxiety disorders are quite common as well.
And anxiety.
So examples include generalized anxiety disorder, where someone has an anxiety. It's what we call free-floating anxiety. So the anxiety tends to be there most of the time.
Okay, couldn't you just be that I'm anxious because I have this big project tomorrow, and or maybe I have this project next week, and I am a little anxious about it. I don't eat often.
But
I lose appetite. Huh?
That's normal.
Okay, so that's how I needed to tell us, when is it a disorder?
So when it's a disorder is when it's sustained and it causes an impairment, because most symptoms that relate to mental health are actually what most people, I said most symptoms, not all, are things that most people experience, but is it causing them impairment? How long is it there for? Is it sustained? Is it affecting their functioning in other spheres of life? So other anxiety disorders include panic disorder. We have agoraphobia. We have the phobic disorder. Phobia.
Please speak it.
Okay.
Look, I forgot to tell you, part of the rules of this program, we try to break this down. You see all the big terminologies. Thank you very much. You're a fellow. We get it. Now, please speak ABCD English for us.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so what I mean is it's one of the conditions we call the specific phobic conditions, where people have anxiety, intense anxiety with regards to one specific thing. It could be an object, it could be a situation, it could be a thing. So agoraphobia is the fear of being in crowded places. The opposite is fear of being in confinement, which is claustrophobia.
Okay,
so
those of us that are afraid of walking near the swimming pool because sometimes I fear I will fall in the pool. I have aquaphobia. Is that an anxiety?
Aquaphobia is a form of anxiety disorder, but before we say, is it a disorder, we really need to know. Yes, and then substance use disorders, very common now, and especially among young people. And then we have the psychotic disorders, of which schizophrenia is one of them. That also.
And explain it.
So it's a severe mental disorder where people sort of lose touch with reality. So there can be what we call perceptual disturbances, like changes, the way they perceive things around them. They might be hearing things or voices of people that they or other people can't see. They can also have problems with their thoughts. Maybe they think, they may believe that their thoughts are being influenced in one way or the other, maybe taken away or even inserted, and the behavior may be disorganized. So the people that people typically refer to as the word which we shy and we don't use, which is stigmatizing mad on the streets, quite a number of them have schizophrenia. They are psychotic because they've completely lost touch with reality. And
well, it started from somewhere.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, it must have been little traces that were being ignored.
Yes, so some can start insidiously, like over time, where you don't really notice that, okay, these symptoms are there, they maybe be socially withdrawn, they may not be able to do the things that they used to do before. They may even say that maybe they may be suspicious or accuse people of doing certain things, or
Spiritual,
complain
welcome to
of
Nigeria.
hearing voices, that others cannot see. And when these things happen, of course, just like you just mentioned, the first thing that comes to mind is, could this be a spiritual experience, or could it be caused by something else? But these can be symptoms of a serious mental health condition. So, and for some people, there are also acute onsets of where it can happen within a short period of time of psychotic symptoms.
Well, I think she's getting a little deep into this. So I'd like us to, at this point, go on a feature break. We're going to take this background feature, which is practically going to set the tone for our main discourse for today. And this background feature is taking a look at our topic for today: depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and anxiety. And of course, we have, some people share their experiences in this feature you're going to see. Stay with us.
A worried mind, unhappiness or sadness, emotional outbursts, sleep problems, or mood swings. These are possible symptoms of mental illness. But no one wakes up to these conditions overnight.
Mental health is a state of well-being by which an individual is able to attain or achieve his or her potential, is able to cope with normal stresses of daily living, work productively and fruitfully, and contribute meaningfully to his or her society.
His recent single, Heaven, is one that comes from a healing point.
I remember the period to which I started writing Heaven. It was one of those moments where I was at my very deep lows, and I was the song the Heaven itself, among other songs, were the songs that I was writing at that period. That moment I was putting up my heart in the songs, and Heaven came to me as just another voice that was trying to resuscitate me.
Aside from depression, anxiety is another day-to-day experience by any human. But when does it become a problem?
Anxiety becomes a problem when it is unduly severe. It is unduly prolonged, and it is having or taking a net toll on that individual's performance at work, at home with the family, and on a broader social scale.
artist narrates the creative process behind his latest EP and what he hopes to achieve with it.
Amaral Fortube is a broadcast journalist in Lagos. A near-death experience would have ended her life and not have an opportunity to sit by the console every day doing what she loves.
Last year, December, I happened to be involved in a very severe auto accident on my way to work. This happened around 5 in the morning. I left the house on a very beautiful Friday morning on my way to work. That was December 23rd, 2022. But unfortunately, I didn't get to the office. I sustained several degrees of injuries from that accident. I had head injuries, head concussions. I had bruises all over my arms, my back, some of my legs here, and even my ankle. I mean, everywhere was bruised up, and it was a very, very painful, trying, traumatic time and experience for me, because before now or before then, I have never been in such accident and I've never experienced such trauma.
Aside from the fact that here somebody with post-traumatic stress disorder can have a difficult concentrating, they are easily startled, they are so much hypervigilant. If anything happens, they are afraid. Oh, could it be another problem coming? So these are problems that are seen in individuals with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Oftentimes on my show, I talk about the importance of sitting to talk to someone, especially when you've gone through a very traumatic experience, but I have never experienced it. It was the number one or the first time for me as well. So the accident afforded me that opportunity to have a sit down with a doctor to talk about my pains, to talk about the trauma as a result of the accident. So it was a lot.
That's quite detailed. We have learned a lot, and when people tell their stories, it's always also very, very important and relatable. Remember, you can be part of this conversation by reaching us via text message or WhatsApp on our phone line 081 177 82020. For those of you writing from within Nigeria, if you're writing out of Nigeria, +234 177 82020. Our phone line is showing on the screen. So I still have Motunrayo with me here, a consultant psychiatric. Now, you've seen that.
Yes.
Let's talk about, let's look at some of the ways, the symptoms, the manifestation of depression, for instance. I mean, I guess it manifests for different people different ways. So share with us some of these ways. I mean, in a home, for instance, a wife says she's depressed. And first of all, oh, I want to get married, I get married. Oh, I want to give birth, I give birth. And suddenly, you're still feeling depressed. So what are some of these? Share with us.
Okay, so some of the symptoms of depression include undue sadness.
Undue sadness.
Yes, so the sadness may be there, and the person may not even be able to realize or recognize that it's due to this thing or not. Or we also say low mood. So the mood or emotion just describes the way we feel. So if somebody feels down most of the time, and then there's also a reduction in the level of energy, of which some people might just complain of fatigue all the time or tiredness. And when you examine them, you can't find anything. Like maybe they have enough blood in their system, they are not dehydrated. So low mood, undue sadness. Then there's also the issue of, so I've talked about low energy as well, which is the tiredness or what we call easy fatigability. And then for some people, their sleep is also affected. And when we talk about sleep, sleep can be either too much or too little. So, but insomnia, that's difficulty falling asleep. Some may, difficulty with sleep. Some may be having smaller quantity, and for some it may be much more than that.
What are these root causes? Because I like knowing the causes of things. What are some of the possible, because they say prevention is better than cure, right?
Yes.
Good. So what are some of the things that could trigger one getting depressed, anxious?
Okay.
Well, for PTSD, we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Yes. Generally, we tend to divide the causes or risk factors for these conditions into what we call the biological factors. So what is it in this person's makeup as an individual that predisposes them or puts them at risk or causes it? So there are some chemical imbalances that have been found in people with various kinds of mental health conditions. And in depression in particular, there are some chemical imbalances with some chemicals such as serotonin, if I'm using big words, pardon me, and dopamine as well. And then you also have, so those are that's a biological factor. Some also are at higher risk because somebody in their family has had that condition before. So if a family member has had a mood disorder or depression in particular before, somebody else in the family can also have it. Are you
serious? It's like it could be hereditary?
Yes, so there are also identified genes for some of these conditions. And then we talk about what we call social factors. Social factors are, what are the things around this person? Issues of poverty, of unemployment, of losses. So loss could be death of someone close to the person. It could also be the loss of something important to them, the loss of a job, the loss of a source of livelihood, changes occurring in the environment, wars, disasters, bad news, and things like that. Those are social factors. And then we talk about the psychological factors. So what is this person's personality? Some people have a tendency of thinking negative, they have a predominantly negative thinking pattern. That could be a predisposing factor for some people. Some people, it could be that they've also had maybe some adverse childhood experiences. So they've been victims of maybe child abuse. It could be sexual abuse. It could be neglect.
But that's PTSD, right?
Not only for PTSD, but there could also be risk factors even for other mental health conditions. So, so these are potential causes for depression and other mood disorders. And of course, there are also some other things like some associations. Maybe people who also drink a lot, excessive consumption of alcohol, because we find out people, quite a number of those who have alcohol use problems can also have depression.
Yeah, I mean, some people take alcohol, they go to the bottle because maybe they want some kind of relief from something. They are running away from something. So, I mean, so the root cause may not necessarily, there was something that is causing the person to be depressed, and he's now going to the bottle to find the solution.
To cope, even to cope.
To manage,
Yes, to manage with the, difficult emotions, the thoughts, and the way they are feeling generally. Sometimes it's even advice from other people. Oh, when I had this problem, I've had even young people who say that they were introduced to substances from friends when they were in difficult situations. So they failed an exam, or there were problems at home with their parents, and their friends or colleagues found them in that kind of state and said, I've experienced this, just smoke something, or let's go out and let's do this.
Wow, okay. I'll take some messages, we'll react to them, then we'll talk about, can children, I understand children can be depressed too.
Yes.
We'll talk about that in a bit. Please do write, tell us where your name and where you're writing from. I see a few of your messages, some don't have name or location. And once again, our phone line is 081-177-82020. Be part of this conversation. Send your questions. Are there inquiries about any of these mental health conditions you'd like the doctor to talk about? Okay. This person is not writing his name, but he says, how can someone overcome easy forgetfulness? Okay, forgetfulness. Let's note that. Let's take another one. How can one deal with anxiety? Okay, she'll take that anxiety questions too. Who is this still on WhatsApp? Please tell us ways to eliminate depression. Ways to eliminate depression. We'll just take one more and then we'll take how you can react to them very quickly and snappily because we have so many. Things that cause someone to be depressed: trying to make money at a young age, things not going as you plan, losing your loved ones, and heartbreak. Oh, heartbreak. Yeah, how could you have forgotten that heartbreak part?
That's part of loss.
Oh, loss.
Yes.
Heartbreak. No, please, when you're talking heartbreak, mention it heartbreak.
Yes, so
or
heartbreak.
If you like,
loss
say
of a
breakfast.
relationship. Okay, chop breakfast.
All right, so let's take the ones you can take very
Yes, so
quickly.
for forgetfulness, again, you know, it's not so easy to assume. So because forgetfulness is like a symptom like headache. So what is causing the headache? What is causing the
And
forgetfulness?
is it persistent?
Yes, so it could be due to, and what is the age of the person who is becoming forgetful? People with depression also often have experience forgetfulness, where they don't remember things well or they are absent-minded. Forgetfulness also occurs in even people with psychotic symptoms because it also affects their concentration. And then there is also dementia, which, you know, in the most, you know, readily seen with age in the older demographic. So forgetfulness, it depends on what is it. We need to ask more details, more information to ascertain what really is this forgetfulness. Is it a real forgetfulness? Is this something that we even need to run some tests for? Because there are some other medical conditions also that can produce
symptoms. Now, we'll talk about, okay, you still have
so
a few
yes, I
questions
still
to
have
take.
a few questions. And then the question on eliminating depression. So we can also we can talk about people managing stress effectively and also improving our resilience, because honestly we can't determine the kind of life events that would happen to us. Some of them come, you know, suddenly, like you said, chop breakfast. Most people, you're in a relationship and you're enjoying the relationship, it's going very well, and then things change suddenly. You were not prepared for it. But how can you build some resilience? How can you understand yourself that, okay, if this thing happens, can I look for support? Can I give myself some time? You know, can I know that, can I have like even a plan B when things don't go the way I have envisaged them to go? You know, so, or if things are going much more worse than that, do I need to present myself for treatment to be assessed and then managed by a professional? So that's another thing to go by. Also avoiding using maladaptive, that's non-helpful ways of coping, such as taking to the bottle, taking drugs of abuse, taking something that will knock me off to sleep so that I can wake up in 3 days' time and all my worries are gone. But the worries are still waiting there.
Worries are waiting there. Maybe
Yes.
a few more would have else added.
And there's something I say readily, you know, I borrow it from physics, which says that energy can never be destroyed, but it will only be converted from one form to the other. So if you don't deal with stress effectively, then it will pile up and it will find expression in other ways, including some mental health.
All right, I want to take the
conditions.
last one there before I... Or you're taking all the questions already?
Yeah, so for anxiety, I'm sorry, can you remind me what the exact
The anxiety questions, and now I have passed the anxiety questions.
Yes.
Okay, maybe we'll take that very soon when we get back from this break. I see your messages and I'll see the much I can answer. Maybe I'll just focus on those who actually wrote their names and where they're writing from, and because we have so many to filter from. Okay, it's time for us to take a look at a short feature which takes a look at anxiety disorder.
Anxiety, a word that has become all too familiar in today's fast-paced world. It affects millions of people around the globe, regardless of age, gender, or background. In this report, we delve into the nature of anxiety, its causes, and most importantly, ways to manage it. Join us as we shed light on this important topic. First, let's define anxiety and understand its prevalence in society. Anxiety is a natural human emotion that serves a protective purpose. It's that feeling of unease, worry, or fear that can arise when we face challenging or uncertain situations. But when anxiety becomes overwhelming and interferes with daily life, it may indicate an anxiety disorder. So, what distinguishes normal anxiety from an anxiety disorder? While everyone experiences anxiety from time to time, anxiety disorders are characterized by persistent and excessive worry and fear. Common anxiety disorders include generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, and social anxiety disorder. Now, let's explore the causes of anxiety. Various factors contribute to its development. Biological factors, such as genetics and brain chemistry, can predispose individuals to anxiety disorders. Environmental factors, like stressful life events, trauma, and childhood experiences, can also play a significant role. Additionally, psychological factors, including personality traits and learned behaviors, can contribute to the development and maintenance of anxiety. Anxiety manifests in a range of symptoms, affecting both the mind and body. Common symptoms include excessive worrying, restlessness, irritability, and physical manifestations like increased heart rate and sweating. The impact of anxiety extends beyond the individual, affecting daily life, relationships, and overall well-being. Seeking help is crucial when managing anxiety. Mental health experts, such as therapists or psychologists, are equipped to provide professional support. Psychotherapy approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and exposure therapy have shown great efficacy in treating anxiety disorders. In severe cases, medication prescribed by qualified healthcare professionals may be necessary. Apart from professional help, there are self-help strategies individuals can adopt to manage anxiety. Stress management techniques, such as deep breathing exercises and mindfulness, can promote relaxation. Regular exercise and maintaining a healthy lifestyle can also play a vital role in reducing anxiety. Furthermore, fostering social support and maintaining healthy relationships offer a strong foundation for managing anxiety effectively. In conclusion, anxiety is a widespread condition that can significantly impact our lives. By understanding its nature, causes, and available strategies for management, we can take steps towards reclaiming our well-being. If you or someone you know is experiencing significant anxiety symptoms, don't hesitate to seek help from a mental health professional. Remember, anxiety is treatable and manageable. There is hope for a brighter, calmer tomorrow.
Yeah, indeed, there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow. Thank you very much putting that feature together, Tete and Capsi. The program is still the Medley Show, and my name is Cecile. So, I have a few of your messages here. I would read very quickly, Doctor.
Yes.
Let's go to text message, and we'll take a number of these. I see some of you calling. Thank you. I also want to hear your voice, so. Well, we can't do that on the program right now. Let's just take a text message on WhatsApp only. Okay. This question. Good day, ma. I want to ask a question. If a man go out and drink and come back to start to beat his wife, what do people say? I'm sorry, that is not part of what we're talking about today. But maybe we could talk about it after the program. Then maybe I can refer you to one of my previous guests who have handled something like this in the past. Greetings, beautiful people. What are some of the remedies to overcome depression? This is from Charlie from Asaba. How do you manage depression in children, particularly when they are between the age limit of 18 years and above? 18 years and above, they are no longer children, but maybe I'm assuming you're talking about teenagers. Maybe we'll not leave it at teenagers or children in those their rebellious ages. So how do you manage depression in children? You know, I talked to you that we'll talk about depression in children when we get back. So you tell us about that in a bit. Let's take another one. This one from Comrade Watchman from Ugeli in Delta State. He said, how quickly can we do away with depression as a result of poverty? Now, my guest is not an economist. Oh, Abi, are you an economist by chance? Good, she's not. So she may not be able to take that. I'm sorry, but just listen to the rest of the program. You may take away something later. How can someone take care of people with depression? This is Jerry Zamani from Kafanchan. Yes, that is very important. How can I be a first aider? How can I take, let's take one or two more and then, which one is, okay, I'll just take those ones quickly.
Okay, so I see someone asking about being deeply sad without knowing why. So how long has this been going on for? Is it 2 weeks or more? Are you feeling tired most of the time? Have you lost interest in things that you used to enjoy doing before? What about your appetite? Is it low or too excessive? Are you feeling guilty? Are there thoughts of harming yourself? If you're also having all these other symptoms, I would say that you need to visit and see a professional, see a doctor, and then the doctor will be able to refer you accordingly. So depression in children or young people is a bit different because unlike adults where people may feel sad, we find that irritability, that's getting angry easily, often is the hallmark of depression in young people, adolescents and children. And there are other symptoms such as the ones I have also enumerated before. So also getting tired easily, crying without knowing why. This also happens in adults. Feeling uninterested in things that they used to enjoy doing before. Social, like keeping to themselves, not enjoying, maybe they don't even take pleasure in whatever they used to enjoy before. Poor concentration, you know, children can also refuse even to go to school. That could also be an issue. There could be other things going on in school. Maybe they are flunking in their grades, they're not doing well academically, which could predispose to being depressed and also be an outcome of,
let me
depression.
Just ask these children, this one of children. I had a guest on set who talked about the fact that she didn't know that she was the cause of depression in her child.
Oh, okay.
Now, she expected her child to, you're not doing very well. Putting too much expectation, too much pressure.
Yes.
So this child gets withdrawn and the child is in school and is always afraid, like, I just have to impress mom. So sometimes at home, parents can actually...
Yes, you know, when there is undue expectation on the child may even try their best, but if they don't feel up to it, then they feel, oh, they are letting down their parents. Parents will also do a lot of comparison. May not be helping their children because the child, even though the child has other capabilities, but the parent may just be focusing on get good grades, do well in these subjects, but what else is the child actually interested in? And some other people, they also cut themselves. It's not like they are suicidal, but self-harming, such as maybe either cutting themselves or even burning themselves, may be a way of feeling the pain and letting out the pain, the emotional pain. They are able to now convert it to physical pain. So we have young people who do this and they don't know who to open up to, you know, except maybe the parents are extra vigilant or they share it with a friend or an older adult who they confide in, who is now able to get them the appropriate help that they need. Let's not forget also that bullying in schools can also can be, predisposing factors for children, where they are objects of ridicule. Somebody is, always disturbing them, taking their things, calling them names. They don't feel comfortable, and they might even they start withdrawing to themselves, because somebody is doing all of that to them in school. So managing depression, you may not be the one to manage the depression, but how do you support someone who is going through depression? So active listening and not being judgmental is the first place. Are they able to come to you to let them explain, I'm not feeling too well? It is not a physical thing, it's an emotional thing. Can you listen without being judgmental, without saying, hey, even me, I heard the story of somebody who died, who lost 10 children, and she's doing well now. No, I'm just saying, rather than listen that, oh, this is this person's experience, you start bringing in something that you have heard someone or you go through. But we're all different, and all this person may need is a listening ear, a non-active listening. You're not jumping to conclusion. You're allowing the person to talk, to express their feeling, and you are paraphrasing it, and showing empathy. Oh, I may not have the depression, I may not have gone through what you have gone through, but I think I know what it means to be in your shoes.
Yeah, sometimes just be there and just listen.
Just be there, yes. Maybe not even offer a solution, just listen. But when you see that maybe this person is talking about ending their life and they feel hopeless about the future, at that point in time, please ensure that they get the help that they need, because hopelessness is also a symptom of depression, and it often points to, if it's significant, then people can think there's nothing more left for me in this life to do. I need to leave. So people can become suicidal, and once someone is suicidal, please, it's actually cause for professional help.
Like she's just said it, if after a period of time these symptoms happen repeatedly, so express itself repeatedly, try to see a doctor, and hopefully a doctor refers you to a practitioner in that field. And just pause that, we'll take more questions. But while you're talking about this, there are different ways of coping with this thing. Like we said, just be there for a friend. Just tell a friend, how are you, my friend? When someone says, I'm fine, just look deeper and ask, how really are you? That's why I really love this song by Johnny Drill. How are you? I'm a terrible singer, just disclaimer, right? How are you, my friend? How do you do, my friend? Sometimes it be like say, nobody sent you. That's when I lie. I there with you, my friend. Okay, yeah, I know I can't sing, but let's listen to the video, the original.
I say, nobody sent you, that's when I lie, I did for you, my friend. I did no vex for me, say I never call you since, but I hope that you are well, I hope your market sell. Every day I dey pray for you, make you Baba God bless you. I never forget you, I gon' forget you. See my shoulder, make you rest up on me. You know I got you, now me be your friend indeed. The money don't show now, I don't keep some for you. You know go so far, cause anything I get now for me and you. Cherish you with my life. Don't worry yourself, oh. Everything go day alright. And if anybody try you, you know it's gonna be on sight. See my shoulder, make you rest up on me. You know I got you, and me be your friend indeed. I'm on the money don't show now, I don't keep some for you. You know go so far. for me and you, yeah. How are you, my friend? I see you, my brother. How do you do, my friend? I see you, my sister. Oh, sometimes you feel like say nobody's in you. That's when I did for you, my
Friend, how are you, my friend? Oh, okay, I'm back on. All right, so how are you, my friend? Sometimes it feel like say nobody sent you, but trust me, I there with you, my friend, and my name is Cecil Egbele, and you're watching the Medley Show. All right, so we're just talking about anxiety, PTSD. We've not touched PTSD at all. Oops, we have very little time, so maybe we should just take that quickly, and then we'll run through the messages we have. Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
What are some of the causes? I mean, I was speaking with a friend. She had a gun to her. She entered one chance, had a gun to her head. For a long time, she never really got over it. She's still shaken. So tell us, what are some of the triggers of this?
Okay, so most triggers are situations or events that are dangerous and life-threatening. So just like the example you gave, kidnapping or kidnapped victims, people who experience sexual abuse, rape, you know, people who also experience violence, people who are involved in tragic incidents, road traffic accidents, people even any sort of mishap, people whose lives are threatened. But sometimes also not just being victims, like the victims, but seeing or witnessing such could also cause trauma in people. So even sometimes listening to such information, maybe it has happened to a loved one or someone you know, can be significant enough to traumatize other individuals. Or watching those kind of events, you know, could also be a trigger for PTSD.
Okay, for PTSD, so when this happens, unfortunately, what's the first thing, after the incident has happened, what was the first thing you advise that this person should do or this person should do? The first thing is you go to start looking for psychiatrists or psychologists like you, or first of all, can I at home manage it myself?
Okay, so it depends on what this tragic event is. If somebody has been involved, like that lady that we saw in the feature who had a road traffic accident, the first thing is to sort out the physical thing first, you know, get treated for, she had concussion, she had some injuries, that would be sorted out, and then the other support for our emotion will now be put in place, or psychological well-being. So it depends on what the event that led to that. But if people have those kind of experiences, then getting the appropriate help is important as soon as possible, where you can be listened to. So we're not forced to relive those experiences, because forced to keep talking about them could actually re-traumatize the individual,
okay.
and you don't want that to happen. So
repeating the story all over again
yes,
is not really the
is
ideal.
not the ideal. So talking to the appropriate professional who knows how to handle trauma that people have been exposed to will reduce the likelihood that the person is re-traumatized. Because if you just talk to anybody, this person will come, what did they say happened to you?
Exactly.
You go to the next, what did you say? And already, not just really, the person is reliving this experience, is reliving the emotions attached to the experience, is also doesn't have time to even sit with themselves and probably even get better, you know. Okay. So even their own natural coping mechanisms may now be, overtaken by those kind of actions. So yes, let the person seek the appropriate help from the appropriate quarters, again depending on what was the cause of the
okay,
trauma.
I would have, but if everybody keeps coming, hey, says, what's going to happen? I will explain. Then the next one comes, wait, how exactly did it happen? Yeah. So, but somehow we just need, they'll ask us to keep explaining. Maybe I'll just print it out in the manual. Anybody that comes, please read it. You know what? Let's take a feature on PTSD, and then we'll be back for our last lap of discussion.
What is PTSD? Post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental health condition that's triggered by a terrifying event, either by experiencing it or witnessing it. Symptoms may include flashbacks, nightmares, and severe anxiety, as well as uncontrollable thoughts about the event. Examples of things that can bring on PTSD include sexual or physical assault, the unexpected death of a loved one, an accident, war, or natural disaster. Most people who have a traumatic event will have reactions that may include shock, anger, nervousness, fear, even guilt. These reactions are common, and for most people, they go away over time. Post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms may start within 1 month of a traumatic event, but sometimes symptoms may not appear until years after the event. These symptoms cause significant problems in social or work situations and in relationships. They can also interfere with your ability to go about your normal daily tasks. PTSD symptoms are generally grouped into 4 types: intrusive memories, avoidance, negative changes in thinking and mood, and changes in physical and emotional reactions. Symptoms can vary over time or vary from person to person. PTSD can vary in intensity over time. You may have more PTSD symptoms when you are stressed in general, or when you come across reminders of what you went through. For example, you may hear a car backfire and relive combat experiences, or you may see a report on the news about a sexual assault and feel overcome by the memories of your own assault. After surviving traumatic events, many people have PTSD-like symptoms at first, such as being unable to stop thinking about what happened, fear, anxiety, anger, depression, guilt. All are common reactions to trauma. However, the majority of people exposed to trauma do not develop long-term post-traumatic stress disorder. Getting timely help and support may prevent normal stress reactions from getting worse and developing into PTSD. This may mean turning to family and friends who will listen and offer comfort. It may also mean seeking out a mental health professional for a brief course of therapy. Some may also find it helpful to turn to their faith community for help.
Not because I want to
Exactly. So far now only you know. So that's something you want to
know this thing.
Peter don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
On the show today, I have my friend and sister. She's an on-air personality. She's quite an interesting person. I've always wanted to bring her on set, and today I managed to get her. Help me in welcoming, as I roll the drum, having a competition with me. The first to get this, I will link and walk in. The program is still the Medley show, and I am still Cecile. That wasn't part of the lineup of the program, just so you know. Okay, now let me explain that. Today happened to be my last presentation of this program on this show. Yeah, Tochi Oputa, who's taking over, cannot make it at this moment. But yes, I have to go on to something else. Yes, I'm taking a break to do something else, but it's okay. I'll keep watching the program, and I'll be sending messages like you. So that's why my crew members put that together without my knowledge. Like, seriously? Anyhow, thank you very much. So yeah, that's some of the behind the scenes, some pictures from back in the days, and I mean, they just made it look like, are you guys for real right now? Anyhow, let's pause that. We'll address that after the show. Moturaya.
Yes.
Let's take some messages very quickly before I say bye-bye. Nice popular Agbada. Oh, thank you. PTSD is real. Castro from Lagos, it's long and I can't take it all, but I talked about the fact that PTSD is real. Very, very quickly, we don't have time, I want to say bye-bye now. I wanted to talk on postpartum depression, very, very quickly.
Okay, so this is depressive symptoms that happen when a woman has just given birth and it occurs in about between 10 and 20% of women after delivery. And the women who can have the typical symptoms of depression, and some of them can also be suicidal, but we also know that they can also start harboring some harmful thoughts even towards their baby. So there are some risk factors such as maybe was this lady even having depressive symptoms before the pregnancy or during the pregnancy before delivery? What of the support in the family, support from spouse, support from other people, and some other issues? So women with postpartum or postnatal depression do need support. They need to get the appropriate help and treatment.
They need support from husband,
spouses,
and
family.
I'm sorry, Motsunrayo. I will have to say bye-bye at this point. We are running out of time already. Thank you very much for being part of the program. So this is my final bye-bye for now on the program till, I don't know, next week you have Tochi on set, and trust me, she's going to do very well. All right, bye-bye. I want to appreciate my entire crew members. Thank you very much. Can't mention your names now, we don't have time, but thank you.